Hey, what's up? It's Bond. Let's talk about The Division. The Division had its Division Day presentation today that included information about The Division 2, The Division Resurgence, and The Division Heartland. Today, I'm going to focus on The Division 2, specifically their roadmap for Year 5, because I think there's two things that are especially interesting that I really want to talk about. So let's look at that. If you like The Division, if you like video game news, podcast, videos, and all of that, please consider following, subscribing, whatever to this channel, liking this video if you do, and maybe leave a comment down below with what you think about this Year 5 roadmap and a couple predictions I am about to talk about. So let's look at this. Very interesting. Year 5. This is expected to start in June with Season 1. It's going to be called Broken Wings. It's going to include the Descent mode. What this has been revealed as of today, the stream showed that this is a computer simulation. That's why the typically orange gear and the little computer, the Isaac computer on the agent's shoulder is green instead of orange or red. This is because this is a simulation. We're going to be, I'm betting, going to the Pentagon or something like that, and we're going to be doing simulated things. So I think that's really exciting. That's really cool. I'm sure some people won't like it. I think it's really good because a big limitation that the devs have always had with the Division is the fact that it has like a realistic aesthetic. Obviously, it's a very sci-fi based game, but the world has always tried to keep some semblance of realism. So I think this is going to be a real good chance for the devs to be able to do whatever they want. In the trailer for it, it actually shows a computer generated version of Keener coming back to be an opponent for us. And they could have 4 Keeners in a room because this is all going to be in a simulated experience, so they can get real crazy. And I hope that they take advantage of that opportunity. The Season 1 also includes continued rebuilding of the castle settlement, which we saw start with the last season. And then I assume this will eventually show the castle fully rebuilt as a fully sustainable settlement in the game, as well as some apparel events, which I'm not going to comment on those. Season 2 will be the Puppeteers season. This is exciting because they announced an incursion. I think the raids, I understand why people wanted them in Division 2. I always felt like the player population and the way that this community kind of goes away and comes back made raids a tough proposition, where the incursions in Division 1 only required 4 players. That was relatively easy to matchmake. The raids in Division 2 required 8 players. That's 2 more than even Destiny requires in its raids. For a community that's a little smaller, for a player base that's probably a lot smaller, and that tends to go away between content. And there's no LFG system in Division 2, even though one was mentioned for a few streams and then that just never happened. Is what it is, right? So I am excited that they announced an incursion. So this will probably be a 4-person mission. It appears like it's going to be in its own area. It's going to be at an estate. So I'm imagining they're going to have like a Kinley College sized area that will go and do an incursion. That's very exciting in my opinion. It's something that the game needed badly. I would have rather have gotten 4 incursions than 2 raids from the Division 2. But you know, that time has passed and now we're moving on. This is also going to have more castle rebuilding and another apparel event. The Vanguard season 3, will go back to New York. It's specifically said that it's going to involve some new revelations about Aaron Keener and his rogue agents, and we're going to learn more and maybe some new information about that whole situation. That's kind of all they said. They mentioned a holiday event as well. I imagine this will be around winter, around Christmas time, and another apparel event. Black Diamond is a really interesting one, and the most surprising in my opinion. This is season 4. This will probably take place early next year in 2024, and it's going to have story DLC. It will also have Seasons 2.0. This was something that they talked about a long time ago that just seems like it got held up, as well as the Specializations 2.0, which may never happen, as well as apparel events. The story DLC is interesting because if you're watching this video and you look in the picture above it, it is showing Brooklyn Bridge, and I would need to look a little closer, but I am fairly certain the angle that Brooklyn Bridge is being looked at right now, and that is from Brooklyn. As you know, the Warlords of New York map of New York City, Lower Manhattan, has the one side of the Brooklyn Bridge. If you remember from Division 1, the opening mission area is actually in Brooklyn before you go over to Manhattan proper. I think that this DLC is going to take place in Brooklyn, that they're going to rebuild that map or maybe build it from scratch. I doubt it will be huge. It won't be a Warlords of New York sized map, but they said it's going to have new story, new main missions, and other things like that. So my prediction is that we are going to be playing in Brooklyn for that season 4, and that is super exciting. As for what comes after that, who knows? This certainly seems like it could lead to a year 6, but here's my hottest take, and this is where you can really light me up down in the comments. I think this is going to lead to a March 2024 announcement that they are in pre-production for the Division 3. I'm expecting the Star Wars game to come out in the next year and a half. If that happens, then that team would be able to go back to working on a full-fledged Division game, and that would pretty much be required because Massive doesn't have enough devs to do 3 AAA games at once. But my prediction is that at the end of year 5, we may or may not get a year 6. I would lean towards not, but maybe we will. I think that they will announce the Division 3's pre-production beginning. Now, keep in mind, that means that the Division 3 could be 3, 4, 5 years away. But I think that they will announce that as an intention. I think that Seasons 2.0 is going to be a way for them to start rerunning all of the seasons after year 5, but have them be unique enough or different enough that they are exciting for people to play for a few years while we wait for the next game. That Heartland will kind of fill that space as well, and that's my prediction. So let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that hot take. Again, if you like the Division, if you like video game stuff, I do talk a lot of Mass Effect these days as well. Please subscribe to the channel for all those videos. I also have a weekly podcast called the Echo Cast that you can catch on podcast providers or right here on this YouTube that you can check out weekly. It's just me, but I do my best to make it interesting still. So thank you so much for watching. Catch me on socials as Bondiesel if you want. Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all the places. And that's all I have for this one. So until next time.